It is my pleasure to introduce the Mayor of the City of Pomona, the Honorable Mayor Tim Sandoval.
The Pomona Love Train. Good evening, Pomona. Buenas tardes. Bienvenidos a todos. Welcome, everyone, to the historic Fox Theater for my second State of the City address. Your presence here this evening is appreciated, and I want to pay a special thanks to Andrea for emceeing, and also Salamat, Pastor Fred Mendoza of Charisma Life Church for the invitation, and to the talented young people of Pomona, the Gary High Color Guard and Jazz Band, Diamond Ranch High School singers, Village Academy videographers, and appearing later in the program, the School of Arts and Enterprise performers. Students, please stand so you can be acknowledged and honored. Pomona's future looks bright. Thank you to the Tessier family and Fox Theater for hosting us. By the way, I have a lot of people to thank. Thanks also to the Foothill Gold Line Authority, Cal Poly Pomona, and the City of Pomona for sponsoring this evening's State of the City address. And also congratulations to the residents who received the second annual Pomona Beautiful Award for your contributions to our city. And lastly, thank you to my wife. Thank you to my wife who inspires me and is supporting me on this incredible journey. I love you. What a special year 2018 was for me to serve as your mayor. It was a year that continued to bring transformational change to Pomona. One might call it a political revolution in Pomona. This past November, 3 new council members were elected. Victor Preciado of District 2, Nora Garcia of District 3, and Steve Lustro of District 5. And in November 2016, we saw the election of Rubio Gonzalez in District 1, Elizabeth Oliveros Cole in District 4, Robert Torres in District 6, and a new mayor, me. Ladies and gentlemen, you, the voters, have spoken. You want us to do things differently. You expect the city council who leads with integrity, honesty, and transparency. A city council who actively listens to you and is responsive to your concerns. A city council that values and encourages you to be engaged. And a city council that collaborates with our institutions and neighboring cities to improve the lives of all residents of Pomona and the region. In other words, the mandate was clear. You expect us, the City Council, to work together to move this city forward. And I believe we are absolutely up to the challenge. As I stated at last year's State of the City address, my vision for Pomona is for every resident and business to take ownership of this community. To own it. And I said this last year. Every street, every corner, every sidewalk, every alleyway, every off-ramp, every park, and every neighborhood. And guess what? You have responded. I see it happening every day. Every Tuesday and Saturday mornings, residents and business owners join me and my council member colleagues as the Pomona Beautiful crew to clean the streets of Pomona, Holt, Gary, Philadelphia, Mission, Indian Hill, Foothill, freeway underpasses, and alleyways. Last week, Senator Leva's team joined us in cleaning up Lexington Avenue between White and Hamilton. And as I understand it, they're still recovering. This past Saturday, Abundant Living Family Church and the Carpenters Union, Abundant Living Church and the Carpenters Union came together to clean an alleyway off of Ashfield in Larchmont. There are people that can't join us on Tuesdays and Saturdays who share with me that they are finding time to clean up their own neighborhoods. It is clear that you want to step up and be good stewards of our city. That is why tonight I am proud to announce the launch of our Pomona Beautiful Adopt a Neighborhood program. Over 25 people and institutions have already signed up for this effort, and you can learn more by visiting pomonabeautiful.com. I see people taking ownership every day, offering up their time, talents, and financial resources. Last May, a group of residents led by Shara Swoden took ownership and organized the first Children's Festival at Civic Center Plaza in honor of Jonah Wang, who lost his life in 2017. It was an expression of their love and a commitment to seeing our children prosper. The Children's Festival will return on Saturday, May 25th. In June, the Pomona Public Library Foundation organized a Mayor's Gala event that raised over $100,000 in support of our public library from those who took ownership of this important city institution and made a financial commitment to support it. And on the evening of June 13th, another black tie gala will allow supporters to come together and do the same again. Pomona-based organizations like the NAACP and Latino Roundtable continue to advocate for the state's most vulnerable students to have access and support at our public universities in an effort called College for All. They are taking ownership of so many children and helping students to take ownership of their own education. Clean and Green Pomona, a grassroots community group in our city. Yes. And by the way, I absolutely appreciate that you're clapping because it gives me a little break. I appreciate it. It's taking ownership over environmental health and well-being. They recently completed a 2-year process of planting 425 new trees at Pomona schools, and it advocated for our new city council to eliminate over 20 miles of designated truck routes in the city to reduce traffic and protect families from harmful pollutants. Thank you, Clean and Green. And you took ownership at the ballot box. Shortly after I was elected, I asked the City Council to direct staff to conduct a 10-year financial forecast to assess the impact to services based on impending pension commitments in the near future. It became clear that if we were to provide the services our community deserves, we would need to increase city revenue. Leading up to the November election, we held 6 community meetings to share the findings of the analysis and discuss options with the community. And you, the Pomona voters, heard us loud and clear. You overwhelmingly supported a temporary sales tax measure by a 2/3 margin. This will give the city the financial resources to provide the services you deserve in the coming years. Thank you for stepping up and taking ownership over your city's financial future. And thank you to the Pomona Police Officers Association and LA County Fire Local 1014 for helping in this effort. And it's not just residents, but businesses and institutions also see the investment that residents are making in our city, and they are responding. Nemo Bruno, owner of DeStefano Cheese Company, maker of fresh burrata and mozzarella cheese, is expanding his Pomona plant to meet the needs of a growing global market in Pomona. Thank you, Neil. Food truck pioneers Nicole and Rick Garcia of Dia de los Puercos, Tony Liu of Slamming Gourmet, and Raul Ortega of Mariscos Jaliscos, recently named by Yelp as one of the top 100 places to eat in the United States, all opened up brick and mortar restaurants in Pomona this past year. Around the corner from this theater you are sitting in tonight, and I know many of you remember this Pac-Man, Galaga, and all of those Donkey Kong arcade games. But you can find the Paradox Arcade in downtown Pomona, a throwback arcade for grown-ups. Opened up by entrepreneurs Evelina and Sabrina Gamboa. When local business leader Tom Shea heard that Fuller Seminary was considering a move from Pasadena, Tom asked the question, why not Pomona? He sent them real estate listings and encouraged Fuller president Mark Laverton to pay a visit to Pomona. Mark did, along with his board of directors. In May, Fuller announced that they would be moving to Pomona after calling Pasadena home for the past 70 years. This is an example of a resident and business owner taking ownership and taking it upon himself to recruit an internationally recognized institution to our city. And it will be opening in, President Laverton, are you here? Oh, he's right here. When might we anticipate Fuller Seminary coming to the city of Pomona? 2021 or 2022. Did you hear that? 2021 or 2022? Thank you, President Laverton. And when I received the call from the Gold Line Construction Authority CEO, Habib Balian, that bids for this light rail project came in over budget, and that the line would end in Laverne and not continue to Pomona, I was disappointed. But Pomonas don't give up. We are resilient people. The City Council and I partnered with our city's sister cities, Claremont, and I know there's a Claremont council member here, so Montclair, and Laverne, accompanied by Pomona residents and representatives from the offices of Supervisor Solis, Congressmember Torres, Senator Leyva, and Assemblymember Rodriguez, and staff from Fairplex, Cal Poly Pomona, Pomona Chamber of Commerce, Claremont Chamber of Commerce, and the San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership. That's quite a group. Yeah. And what happened? The LA Metro Board heard us and unanimously voted to include Pomona as part of Phase 1 of the Gold Line project, committing over $97 million. This will result in hundreds of millions of dollars in investment coming to the area around Pomona North Station when it arrives in 2025. In December, Pomona opened up a Hope for Home to provide housing and wraparound services to our homeless residents. Our city staff, led by Bonita DeFrank and Mark Luba, working in collaboration with Reggie Clark of Volunteers of America, has worked endless hours to see the facility open up. And now it is serving close to 200 homeless residents. Supporting them is our Heart Team. Heart Team, are you here? Led by Officer Billy Din and Max McNeely, our Public Works Department, and mental health specialists. They are making a difference. Well, we have not ended homelessness in Pomona. We have taken a major step in helping the most vulnerable members of our community get their lives back. Residents have told me that they are seeing a difference. All of you have seen the dramatic change at Civic Center Plaza. I want to thank you, Benita, Mark, Reggie, Billy, Max, and the teams you lead for making this happen. Thank you so much. And to our faith-based and nonprofit community, our success at addressing homelessness and other social challenges could not be achieved without you. The love and compassion you bring is helping heal our city. Through your efforts, last April, the City Council passed a resolution declaring Pomona as a compassionate city. I want everyone from our faith-based and nonprofit community to please stand, if you'll just please stand, and that includes large nonprofits and small nonprofits who are giving back to this city. If all of you will just please stand for a moment, and let's give them a nice big hand. Thank you. It goes without saying that leading and operating the 7th largest city in LA County is not easy. Every day we hear concerns about potholes, police response time, upkeep of parks, graffiti, roads, and a host of other challenges. It takes a team to address these issues. Frankly, it can be a thankless job. I have tremendous respect for our city manager, Linda Lowry, our new city attorney, Christy Holgan, and our new city clerk, Rosalia Butler, for managing and leading a city that has high needs and expectations. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you to Police Chief Mike Olivieri and Assistant Fire Chief Jim Robinson for leading the men and women of police and fire, respectively, who are tasked with the enormous responsibility of keeping Pomona safe. Thank you to our deputy city managers, directors, and managers for your service. As many of you know, last year we lost an officer, Gregory Casillas, in the line of duty. We are forever thankful for Officer Casillas' serving this community. I'd like to take a moment of silence in honor of his sacrifice. Thank you. And to all the rank and file, and I know the rank and file is here, the men and women from police and fire, public works, development services, water, parks and rec, library, human resources, and community and business services, and I'm sure there's 10 other departments that I could name. But when I'm at City Hall, or when I'm at the city yard, I see your dedication every day. Every one of you works extremely hard to make Pomona a better place. Thank you. If you work for any of Pomona's city departments, I want you to please stand and be recognized. As mayor and resident, I thank you for your service. Thank you. I want to pay a special thanks to this next individual. City Manager Linda Lowry has served Pomona for the past 13 years, arriving in 2006, and leading us through some of the most challenging years the city has faced. She plans to retire at the end of this year. Linda, it's been an honor working with you. Please join me in thanking Linda for her dedicated service to Pomona. The evidence of taking ownership I've highlighted over the past year is nothing new for Pomona. When we look at our rich history, we see important examples of community members stepping up, taking ownership of the city's future, and making a difference. I'm going to borrow a cue from local historian Deborah Clifford. Hi, Deborah. Allow me to take you back to 1888 when Pomona was incorporated. And this is what historian Mark Etchecherry said, quote, citrus was unquestionably the king of Pomona. It was more than the leading agricultural product. It was the soul of the community and a symbol of a new way of life. It dictated, dominated, and delighted. It had the last word. As citrus fared, so fared the city. And generally, citrus fared very well indeed. It brought the city wealth, respect, and fame. After many years, outsiders forgot that Pomona had offered anything else. To them, the name Pomona meant citrus. Citrus, that essential part of Pomona's history. German traveler. So Pomona has always had a very diverse population, by the way, from Germany. German traveler Ludwig Louis Salvatore stated in 1875, "This valley is extremely fertile and has ample water. The area is well adapted to agriculture, especially fruit growing." But without proper infrastructure, Pomona was at the mercy of Mother Nature. To realize the full potential of the land, the residents of this young city had to find a way to capture water if they were going to overcome the generally dry sage scrubland and the drought years that Mother Nature would bring. The city needed bold and innovative leadership. In stepped in the Reverend Cyrus Mills and Moses Wicks, who formed the Pomona Land and Water Company. The company dug 4 new artesian wells and constructed a cement pipeline carrying water from San Antonio Canyon. An adequate supply of water assured that Pomona could grow, and it did. By 1883, and that was a long time ago, 2 banks and 98 businesses served a population of a whopping 400 people. 2 years later, the population was over 2,000. Yeah, wow. It's the size of one of our high schools. In the years that followed, the city's leaders and residents built homes, hotels, banks, and civic institutions, including schools, a library, churches, parks, including Pomona's first hospital, led by Eliza Bradbury. To transport people around town, Pomona's first mayor, Charles French, and lawyer Patrick Tonner at Tonner Canyon were granted licenses to operate mule-powered rail lines to help transport buyers to the real estate development. I assure you, I will not be using mules to transport buyers to the Pomona. That's why we'll have the gold line. When the citrus industry deteriorated in the late 40s, the transition from an agricultural-based economy to a manufacturing-based economy was not easy. Pomona's leaders had to adapt and reimagine and plan for its future. And again, I want to say this. It took bold and innovative leadership. It was needed at that time. As writer William King states in his book titled Pomona, the Citrus Empire, quote, responding to the need for more jobs, the Chamber of Commerce aggressively recruited new industries. In just 1 year, 1948, their efforts resulted in 41 new businesses locating to the area. On land that was once home to citrus groves was born General Dynamics, an aerospace giant that was the largest employer in Pomona. You know the story. Like the citrus industry, the aerospace industry had its day. And by the early 1990s, General Dynamics had closed down its Pomona plant. Transitions are never easy. They can be painful and hard on a community. But the Pomona narrative that I've shared with you informs us about the way forward. In our past lie the seeds that help to inform the future. What does that past tell us? That when we look back at moments when our city was faced with its greatest challenges, success was due to the people of Pomona working together to solve problems and imagining and planning for the future. People make a community. They are our greatest asset. At every moment in our 130-year-old history, It took bold and innovative leadership to help move the city forward. People like you, individuals contributing what they could. No single individual did it alone. I, as mayor, cannot do it alone. It's going to take all of us being bold and being innovative to help move this city forward. Like the pioneers who built Pomona from a city of 400 to over 160,000 people, to you, our community leaders, I ask of you today that you work with me and the City Council to imagine and plan for the future. As a start to this ongoing community dialogue and discussion, I propose that in the months to come, that we focus our conversation on two key assets: the people of Pomona and our institutions. When my parents moved to Pomona in 1980 and bought their first home at 1759 San Bernardino Avenue, little did they know that we were coming into a city in transition. But as painful as the decline in industry was to the city, Pomona became a place of hope and opportunity for families from war-torn countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, Guatemala, El Salvador, and from the countryside in Mexico. They were my classmates, and as the migration continued throughout the 90s, the children of our immigrant families became my students at Bright Prospect, proud Pomona Unified District graduates. They are the first in their families to attend college, like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Berkeley, UCLA, Cal Poly Pomona, Mount SAC, and other colleges throughout the country. Other students are choosing a different career pathway, becoming welders, electricians, plumbers, mechanics, and construction workers, benefiting from programs offered by Pomona Unified School District and CTEC at the Fairplex. Thank you. All of them are a great asset to our city, and I want you to think about this for a moment. Rather than leaving it to chance, we need to be intentional. How can we invest in them, and how can we help them invest in the city? Like Ignacio Palomares, Ricardo Vejar, Francis Smith, founder of Casa Colina Hospital, Eliza Bradbury, founder of Pomona Valley Hospital, the Toile brothers, founders of the Coachella Music Festival. Like those who came before them, our young leaders may have the next big idea for Pomona that will positively transform the lives of others. There are efforts already underway in Pomona to strengthen the pipeline from cradle to career, like Pomona's Promise and Compassionate Cities. And Stephanie, I know you asked me to mention that there's going to be a summit on early childhood health and development on May 2nd, I believe. Save the date, it'll be coming soon. May 1st. Our newest effort is being led by the Pomona Community Foundation, who's helping to develop the leaders of tomorrow through the Pomona Leadership Network, where future leaders can be challenged, mentored, and developed. Our greatest asset is our people, so let us be bold and innovative in what we imagine and plan for Pomona. Our second greatest asset is the institutions that people built to heal, to entertain, to employ, to educate, and to lift the spirit of others in Pomona. Last September, I was asked to speak at the San Gabriel Valley Developer Summit at the Fairplex Conference Center to over 250 business leaders from the Southern California region about the economic opportunities in Pomona. The message was clear: Pomona is open for business. As we imagine and plan for the future, how do we translate economic opportunities into results that have long-term benefits for the people of Pomona? In the book, The New Localism, How Cities Thrive in the Age of Populism, authors Bruce Katz and Jeremy Nowak argue, quote, cities are powerful networks of institutions and ecosystems of actors that co-produce the economy and co-solve problems. Leadership is abundant in our cities and communities. And every city success story they cited, and communities, involved individuals and collections of people who stood up, took responsibility, recognized power in all its forms, and deployed it with vigor and effect. I see that happening every single day in the city of Pomona. So to realize the goal of maximizing Pomona's economic potential that benefits, and let me say this, all segments, all people in our city, I am proud to announce tonight the formation of a Mayor's Advisory Council made up of business and civic leaders. I don't have all the answers, but some of the questions I will ask this group are the following. Given the number of health-related businesses in Pomona, how do we leverage this competitive advantage to expand our healthcare sector and increase job opportunities for our residents and the region? How do we capitalize on the social, environmental, and economic advantages that the Foothill Gold Line can bring to Pomona before its arrival in 2025? How do we engage more businesses to be connected and engaged in Pomona's civic and community life? How do we partner with developers to build mixed-use developments in economically distressed areas of Pomona, like parts of Holt Avenue, by taking advantage of federal opportunity zones? And as you're traveling east on the 10th freeway from Kellogg Hill and looking down to the 5771 interchange, how might we reimagine Corporate Center Drive with high-rise structures that house and affordable housing and employ people from Pomona and the region? As Katz and Noah go on to say, in the new localism, at its best, the power of cities flow not from the dictates or decisions of central governments, but from the actions and decisions of local grass tops. Local grass tops. The heads of municipal governments, companies, universities, philanthropies, and local grassroots, community groups, residents, and countless small and large organizations working in concert. When unveiled and coalesced, the power of these disparate actors expands and multiplies in ways that are often unpredictable, even magical. A smart intervention, a quality park, an entrepreneurial business incubator often creates the platform for broader economic and social transformation. Just last week, Derek and Lisa Engdahl and members of Pomona Placemaking, all Pomona residents, met with me, City Manager Linda Lowry, and Councilmember Victor Preciado, and asked if they could convene residents and community leaders to engage in a reimagination of Civic Center Plaza. On their team is Lucas Rivera of Fairplex, who helped bring new life through a public-private partnership to Grand Park, turning a dry, unused space between Los Angeles City Hall and the Music Center into a vibrant park used by tens of thousands of people in Los Angeles. On Buena Vista, near Ralph Welch Park, members of United Voices of Pomona are working with residents to establish an eco-farm on city-owned property. There's a lot, give them a big hand. There's a lot we can imagine together if we put our minds, hearts, and energy into it. If we are bold and work together on imagining the future. You're going to see a lot of change in 2019, and I want to highlight some of the exciting efforts, and here are just a few. In April, the city will engage with Cal Poly Pomona to explore the possibility of the university returning and establishing an innovation lab in downtown Pomona. At Monday's City Council meeting, I directed city staff to prepare an inclusionary housing ordinance for the council's consideration. Passage of such ordinance will ensure that developers build affordable housing and sell it below market rate as part of any future development project. Too many of our residents are being priced out of the housing market, so we need to carefully look at what other options we have to stem this crisis. And we have to do this. It is something we have to do. Particularly for our most vulnerable members of our community. You can anticipate several public improvements, including the completion this year of Phil and Nel Soto Park, depending on the rains. Miles of repaved streets, including Laverne Avenue from San Antonio to the Claremont border. Yeah, you gotta clap for that one. Earlier this month, the California Transportation Commission awarded Pomona $9.2 million to improve walking and biking in the city. We were ranked 14 out of 550 submissions. Across the street from the Hilton Gardens at Rio Rancho Center, which is scheduled to open later this year. Large bulldozers are preparing to break ground on over 100 single-family homes by Lewis Development. Tierra Mia Coffee Company. Have any of you heard of Tierra Mia Coffee Company? Is coming to Pomona. And guess where it's going to be? At the old McDonald's on Indian Hill Boulevard, a place I used to go to when I was younger. And I just want to say, please continue to shop in Pomona, buy your gas in Pomona, shop online, because you know those taxes are so important to the health of our city, because it's those dollars that we could put back into the community to help our children, to help our seniors, and to help the residents of Pomona. So I have to say that Pomonans, and by the way, it's not Pomonians, okay? It's Pomonans, have heeded the call and are taking ownership of this city every single day. We are all here at the historic Fox Theater, which opened up in 1931 in the midst of the Great Depression, a time of great challenges. It brought people hope and a belief that a better day was near. Building it required capital, labor, philanthropists, and local government working together to see its completion. Today, our country is once again faced with serious challenges. This time, challenges that are characterized by growing political tribalism and economic inequality. I believe that we can do something different than that in Pomona. Let me say that again. I believe that we can do something different than that in Pomona. One of the most beautiful things I see is that there are so many people who care about and love this city and want to give back. So many people who are imagining what's possible for Pomona and working together to make it happen. And I say this, you are the greatest asset to this city. I often share about how I am where I am now because somebody believed in me. Imagine what our young people can become, what our young leaders can become if we believe in them and we invest in them with our energy, our resources, and our talents. Imagine what our city can become if we believe and if we invest in it. And we need everyone's energy to imagine not just the bare minimum for our city or what's needed to survive, but what's possible to make this a world-class city. That starts with imagination. As we are out and about the city, let's use our imagination for Pomona's economy, Pomona's civic infrastructure, Pomona's education, Pomona's arts and culture, Pomona's beauty, Pomona's kids, Pomona's neighborhood. Everyone can take part in this kind of constructive imagination. Each of us can talk to a neighbor or another resident of Pomona or another person who works in Pomona. We can say, hey, I have this dream for what's possible. What do you think? What's your dream for Pomona? What's your vision? What do you imagine? And we also need to do this as leaders and members of our local institutions and organizations, large and small. In order to help Pomona thrive, we all need to imagine how we can truly invest and partner with other organizations and institutions and the whole community at large. And it takes imagination, innovation, and bold and audacious leadership to do that. And then it's possible to decide together, just like people did in 1883, to get water for oranges. And just like people did in 1948, to work together toward an amazing economic revitalization. Just like then, just like those leaders did, we can also imagine and connect and plan. Because that kind of constructive dreaming for the future of Pomona will plant and water seeds that will one day bear an impressive crop. And let me end with the quote I used earlier from the New Localism. Every success story they cited involved individuals and collections of people who stood up, took responsibility, recognized power in all its forms, and deployed it with vigor and effect. And I see that happening every single day in the city of Pomona. So, I want to call us to this tonight. We in Pomona are going to stand up. And I'm literally going to ask you to stand up. Everyone, please stand. Say with me. We are going to take responsibility. We are going to recognize the potential around us. We are going to recognize the power we have to invest in the good of our community. And we are going to use that power toward our highest imaginings with all the energy and resources we can, mustered for the long term thriving of our city and everyone in it. And say this with me, for Pomona. Thank you, and God bless Pomona.